Up next, we have the South Carolina Gamecocks. South Carolina finished at 5-7 last season and did not make a bowl game. But this year, they were much improved. They finished 9-4 under Coach Shane Beamer in his fourth season in South Carolina, and they ended up finishing number 19 in the rankings. But they were in the conversation to be a playoff team up until the end. They lost their bowl game, which knocked them down a little bit. But South Carolina was a buzz team this year, man. They got a lot of publicity around the country because once they got going, they really looked like a very, very solid team. Their defense was fantastic, and they had a dynamic playmaker at quarterback in Lenora Sellers who really showed out, down the stretch. They had some bad losses early in the season, and then once they kind of turned it around, much, much improved team. They probably would have been in the playoffs if not for a bad call in the LSU game that overturned a pick six. But yeah, just an overall great season for South Carolina, coming from 5-7. Lots of questions about Beamer's job, to being in the playoff conversation at the end of the year. Obviously upsetting Clemson in the last game of the regular season. But with that being said, South Carolina always thinks they're a little bit better than they are. So for that, I gave them a rake of a B for the 2024 season. Burr, what's your thoughts on South Carolina?
Yeah, I think they had a really great season for South Carolina. They really should have had 2 more wins, but due to poor SEC officiating, they didn't get the call against LSU or Bama. And honestly, they have the best quarterback in the SEC, hands down. Like he's the man. He's legit. Not looking forward to playing him in the future as a Georgia fan. But
yeah, he was a freshman this year, but he was a redshirt freshman. So if he puts up another year like he did this year, maybe he's out of the league before Georgia gets South Carolina back on their schedule.
What if Georgia plays South Carolina in the SEC championship?
Things that I don't think are going to happen for 500, Alex.
What if? The multiverse, But yeah, they did have some huge wins down the stretch, beating 2 ranked teams and a decent Texas A&M team. And, they finished the year with a disappointing loss to Illinois. So, yes, I know South Carolina had a better year, by their standards, but I'm still giving them B-.
So we've got myself giving them a B, Burl's giving them a B-. So what do we think for our overall grade for South Carolina in 2024?
B-.
Okay. We'll go with a B- for South Carolina.
If they would have got those 2 calls, they'd have an A.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe if they'd have won that bowl game too.
Yeah. If they won the bowl game, I would have come up to a B. So I mentioned South Carolina had a good win over a good, decent Texas A&M team.